It is on. Cool. Can't really too high. Move the camera. Better. Sweet. Looking on YouTube, lots of people fabricating, lots of people making racing cars, but for a total noob like me, no one building single seaters and like running through how to build yourself like a bit of a custom single seater. So that's the plan. I am not good in front of the camera, as you can see, and I'm also look retarded and have a stupid voice, so get that in early before everybody starts complaining about it. I've actually been building this for 5 years, far too long already. I'll run through a couple of the bits I've already done, run through the bits I'm doing at the moment, and then we'll try and document everything from then on. So this is a 2000 Megale Formula Ford SJ00. What I've done is I've actually got 2 of these chassis. I've got a white one as well. Well, it's not a white chassis, it's black chassis, but with a white cover. And I've stripped all the spares off the second one. I bought this one just as a chassis. And I'm converting it to run a bike engine. There it is, an 1100 Blackbird engine. Bit stupid because actually it's 1137, which puts me above the 1100 class. But what I've done is I've chopped the back off, and I've fitted this framework already, which took me a little while to get the engine in. What I've got is the dimensions to make the Formula Ford work. So what I'm going to do is make it everything exactly the same dimension as when it was a Formula Ford. Oh, that's a bit close. So the whiteboard, I'm going to explain what I'm doing here. So we have a Formula Ford, there's a roll hoop that goes forward there, little driver sits there, steering wheel there, front wheels here. We've got that bit. What we did have as well, we had the arms here that used to attach the engine to. The engine used to sit in here. Then we had the bell housing, which I'll show you in a bit, and the gearbox used to go on the back. What we've got at the moment are the bell housing. We have mount points on the bell housing. And we have the rocker unit, which I will show you as well, which is what I made a small framework for as well. And then on the back of it is also a wishbone mount point. And what we don't have at all is the rear lower. What we could do is reverse engineer a lot of it, but today what we're going to do is create a jig for these here. So how we create that jig, we have the bell housing, we have the mount points on either side. What we're going to do is take the mount points off and bolt some plate with some holes in it, create some tubes, go underneath. So then you take that away, you have a horseshoe, and that horseshoe has exactly the right dimensions you need to create your rear framework. What do I mean by framework? So I don't have gearbox, or I'm not going to be using the bell housing, I'm not going to be using that engine. What I've done is I've put a bike engine in, which kind of looks a bit like that. And we've got a rear bulkhead. So what we're going to do is literally just stick a framework on the back of that, which mirrors the wishbone mount point. So we'll have a wishbone mount probably on here. We have our rocker work, which is on here, that'll be on there, and then we create and reverse engineer the rear. So what we're going to do, make a start on the framework for the jigs. Something no one really tells you about when it comes to building cars, how much they cost. I had a budget of 10 grand for this car, and about 5 years in, probably about £20,000 deep now. That's in tooling as well though. Yeah, not cheap. Only do it if you really want to do it. So all we've done, tack welded 3 points here onto this plate here, we're going to make ourselves a little bridge to go between here and here. So that's nice and straight between there. I've made this too long, so we can put a bar across the front here. And then we'll do exactly the same on the other side. This is the known dimensions, this is what we're going to copy, and then we make the framework from that. So, you guys might have seen me there grinding a few times. What I've done is I've cut this little piece here. What we need to do really is cut it too big and use the grinding wheel to make it a little bit smaller. Because the last thing you want is something too small, wasted a bit of metal. But now, that puppy, oh, it's so tight. So now, that's ready to be, oh, can't see anything. But now that's ready to be welded in. So if you really want to do a project like this, you literally cannot do it without a welder. This is mine and actually me and my dad joint own this. It's our MIG, it's nothing special. And neither is my TIG. My TIG set is not special, it's just an SIP. Does the trick though. When your tube sizes are only 1.5mm thick, you need low amps all sorted out. So, what we've managed there, built this little bridge here, keeps poke, this here, it's really shut, some braids hanging up. Braided hoses, when they deteriorate, they really hurt. That's really hurting. What we've built here is our little bridge, pointing it down at the camera, yeah, there's our little bridge, we rolled it to here. So what we have, our wishbone points are locked in on this side. What we do is we build another tube to the other side, so it's like a brace / jig thing. And we build from there, sweet. I've actually said that wrong. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is exactly the same, but for this side. Get myself a tube, run it between here and here, and then, once we've got the tube running down here, then we'll bridge them across. Then we know what we're dealing with. That's how we're going to do that. Looks alright. Oh, what I thought I'd show you is my bandsaw. Everybody's probably seen one of these before who's watching, but some noobs won't get how good these bits of kit are. Watch it go. Yep, I need a new blade. And ready to turn itself off. I don't know why I do this. Oh. So we've got a top and a bottom. Now we need to make a piece to go through these two here, and then we've got ourselves a jig. I mean, you could go a little bit more complex. You could come all the way over the top. Don't think I'm going to though. I'm going to weld it nice and straight and secure. Let it cool down so it doesn't warp. Hopefully, I think it should be strong enough with just those bars in the bottom. Maybe do two. Maybe put one bar in here and then do one bar at the bottom. We've got two. Like there's a cantilever type reinforcing going on. Well, I've warped it. So, made this bottom piece to sit in there, nice and flush. Oh no, look at the gap. Thing is, that's not too much of a problem. It's a jig. So, if I clamped that together and welded it, those would immediately ping off. Well, they would ping off. A little bit of an exaggeration, but these would move slightly out of line, and so therefore we didn't have a jig anymore. So what we need to actually do is just weld it like it is, and hopefully it doesn't pull. So what I'm going to have to do is when I take these off, just have a little think and feel at how hard they have to come off, because if it pings then can't use swear words on YouTube. We're a bit screwed. Have to start again. So the jig is done. Let's take it apart and let's see how well we've done. Where is my impact going? What have they done with it? It's up here. Sorting. Right. So, how easy? Actually, it's going to be very easy to take this apart. What's going to be trickier is finding out how well it goes back together. These bolts should just go straight back in their slots. If the jig has pulled, they won't. So let's find out. Wrong way. No movement. It's looking all right so far. I can hear it raining. It's been raining all afternoon. Don't want to go outside. I think I might just stay here all night and just avoid the rain. Don't mind that. Well, we do have a mandate later. That was tricky to come out. Concerned about that one. Oh, that'll come out a treat. So, simply now, what I do, very carefully, pop this off, pop it back on. Damage it. Coming straight though, and on both sides. Watch something go wrong now. It's coming. There it is. Look at that. There's our jig. There is our jig, and that's still really hot. No, don't touch things that are hot. So now put it back on. See if the bolts can fit. See if it's pulled. So, done some adjusting. It works. Brilliant. This is I mean, it didn't go well first time. Luckily, this gearbox bell housing is actually scrap. It has a huge crack in it. That doesn't mean it's not aligned, which makes my whole job pointless. But it's just at the bottom, and it's probably destined for the bin, shall we say. Take all these bolts out and show you what we have. Wait. I'm going to put a little line on it. Draw a line, tells me which way was the front, just in case there is an alignment. You know the way front to back could be an alignment thing. To the front that way. This way I don't confuse myself. It's pretty easy. Right, so what we've created here is actually pretty cool. This is the first time I've ever done this successfully, which is well, I mean, I've doing this a while, so I should have probably done it a bit more successfully. It looks really out of line, but it's not, because it's just come straight off. Right, so what we've done is created a jig. This mirrors the wishbone pickup. So what I will do is use this to create the rear framework. And how we're going to create the rear framework, I'm going to show you on the whiteboard right now. Let's go. So how are we going to use this to create a rear framework? You can see bolt holes. What you're able to do is we'll put a bolt through. And a bolt through there. Pretty tight. You wind yourself a bush on, drop these. Get cakes for that, that's normally what happens. So you wind your bush on. Okay, you keep going, and then you have a bush on here as well, and then you weld a little framework between, and that will be, where's my pen gone? This framework, here. So there'll be a bar running through here, through here, through here, through here, and there, that's your framework. That's how you create, and that's why you pick up your wishbone points. Our next job is to use our wishbone jig. Wishbone jig, it's not even a wishbone jig. It is a rear framework jig that we've created today. It goes under there. And we need to use this rocker point up here, and we need to make sure it's in exactly the right place. So we're going to have to grow the jig a bit further, I think, to come along here. And our rear wishbone point, I think, will end up with a plate like that. So we have our 3 known points. And once we have our 3 known points, we'll build the framework then to put this thing together and reverse engineer this last wishbone point. That's the plan anyway. It's definitely not going to go like that. Absolutely not. So, for the first episode, I don't even know how this is going to go. I don't think this has gone well at all. I feel quite weird on camera. But, for episode 1 of what is probably going to be 1 million, I hope you have 10 years of your time, because that's how long this is going to take to finish. I'd say that's pretty good. We've made ourselves a jig. Next, we're going to produce the rest of this. We're going to do that next week. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. This is the first one. Depending on how this goes, might do more, don't know, not actually sure. I feel a bit weird on camera. But hopefully I can take you all the way to the end, and hopefully this time next year the car will actually be on wheels and it will be able to drive. 5 years in the making, I suggest that's probably not going to happen. So thanks very much for watching. If you like it, subscribe and share it, or whatever people do. And hopefully see you next time.